Hi there, it's Jen from modernmedicinelady.com and the Empathic Woman System, and the word of the day is scarcity. And I'm choosing this word for two reasons right now, because in the last, say 36 hours, I've really been thinking about this. First off, I've been thinking about it because the water protectors have been kicked off the land at the Dakota Access Pipeline. And from my perspective, this is all about scarcity. This is all about the idea that there is one solution, there is one way to save money, there is one possible viable option, and in order to protect it, other people's rights, other people's right to the sovereignty of their own land and their own water just basically needs to be disregarded because this idea is this is the only solution that is viable. And from my perspective, that is a solution, or that is a mentality of scarcity. Because instead of being like, wow, this really isn't working, maybe we could find a better solution. It's this, we've invested this now and we're going to keep investing in it the way it is, and it has to stay this way. And one of the things I've noticed for myself is that it seems to me that the idea or the belief in scarcity also generates inflexibility, because scarcity seems to also create the idea that there's only one option, there's only one solution, and if somebody else is benefiting, it diminishes me. That somehow there's only so much to go around, that the pie is limited, and therefore if I share or if I contribute, if I do something, somehow I am going to lose because somebody else is gaining. And so I've been thinking a lot about how, for me, this really comes down to, do I choose the path of love or do I choose the path of fear? Do I choose to be in a place of expansion and keep my heart open to the possibilities and the miracles? Or do I contract into this idea that it's going to hell in a handbasket, there's not enough to go around, and I better protect the limited resources I have? Now, if you've been watching Word of the Day for a while, you know I talk a lot about law of attraction and the idea of like attracting like, and where we direct our attention and where we direct our mind is what we create. So the paradox of scarcity, especially for people who want to make a lot of money, especially for people who have this idea that, that somehow, I don't know, even by that cutting taxes is somehow going to generate more income, is that when you're focusing on the idea of loss, when you're focusing on the idea of, if this person gets health care, then I'm going to somehow be deprived, the irony is that the focus is on the deprivation, and that deprivation is going to expand in your consciousness. Whereas when I think about the fact that there is enough to go around and that there are abundant resources on this planet, then that expands into all kinds of possibilities. So the second reason I was thinking about this was that I was watching this interview yesterday with Denise Duffield-Thomas of LuckyBitch.com and Marie Forleo of B School. And Marie was talking about wealth and the need to, basically, in order to change this planet, we need to get over our discomfort about making money, especially as women, because in order to change things, we need to be able to put our money where our mouth is. And she was saying that essentially it would cost around $28 billion. I found another website that said it would cost about $30 billion to end world hunger. And she said, sure, that sounds like a lot of money, but then when you discover that we spend $57 billion a year on ice cream, it starts to put the thing in perspective. So then I started doing a little bit more research, and I found this website where they were talking about ending poverty entirely. It would cost $175 billion, and it would take about 20 years for the entire planet to get out of abject poverty. And the thing is that right now, in 2012, we spend $737 billion. Let me repeat that. $737 billion on our military budget in the United States. And the $175 billion that it would take to end poverty entirely, that is less than 1% of the wealth of the top 30 wealthiest countries. It's 0.7% of the wealth coming from the top 30 wealthiest countries on the planet. So you start thinking about it that way, especially the military budget, and you think, wow, what they spend on the military budget annually could end world hunger like 30 times over. I mean, that's rough math, but you get my drift. And so I was thinking, the thing is, there's one way of looking at it is about that abundance of ending world hunger, and the other side of it is looking at needing to build up our military to protect these limited resources and to, keep people away and keep people out and stop things from happening. And that, to me, is at the core, that the very core of it is fear, and at the very core of it is scarcity and not a belief in love. So I want to share one more thing with you, because I've also been listening to the introduction from the Course in Miracles, and there is a piece in the Course that hit me today, or hit me yesterday, in a way that it had not hit me before. Like, it hit me deeper than it ever had before, and it just really is so powerful. So I'm going to read this to you, so bear with me while I look away. The Course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. It's our natural inheritance. The opposite of love is fear. Now check this out. But what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. The Course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. And so, scarcity is an illusion. It's an unfortunate illusion. And right now, there are a lot of people asleep in this illusion. I sincerely believe that for those of us who choose the path of light, for those of us who choose the path of love, now is the time to focus on the abundance. Now is the time to focus on the miraculous. Now is the time to focus on hopeful solutions. And now is the time to focus on opening our hearts to love, because that is what is going to open the way, and that is what is going to bring the miraculous solutions in as we are standing at this extremely powerful and remarkable time of transformation and change on this planet. So my question to you is, are you noticing yourself getting distracted or diverted by the illusion of scarcity? Are there places where fear is overriding love for you? Are there places where you're concerned about the idea that resources are limited and the possibilities are not endless, that we do not live in an abundant universe? Or are you totally on board? Are you in already, like, totally with the program and absolutely understand the abundance of this miraculous universe and know that this universe is just unfolding in ways that are beyond our wildest dreams and conceiving? And so if you are in that place, then hey, keep up the great work. And if you are on the other side where scarcity is kind of getting a foothold on you, what are the ways that you can open your heart to love? What are the ways that you can relax into gratitude? What are the ways that you can relax into the abundance that is in your life today? And what can you share? What can you contribute? What can you offer to this world to help make it a better place? So I'd love to hear what you have to say. Please leave a comment below and tell me what you think about all of this. And until next word of the day, I'm wishing you peace and ease and profound gratitude and a deep deep recognition of the miraculous abundance that is on this planet right now. And in the meantime, please go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jennifer Moore, Modern Medicine Lady. And also, I would be eternally grateful for you to share this video, pass it along to other people who would find it useful. Thank you so much, and until next time, peace.